All right, so we are here with the top 8 of Riley's Retro number 12. We did actually have just enough players to make it to a top 8. Unfortunately, my co-host PJ did have to leave, was summoned back to parental duty, unfortunately, right before top 8. So it's just going to be me on this one here. But we are watching the matchup here, going to be Iyla on this ZoroRoc deck up against Gabriel with the Rayquaza deck. The only Rayquaza deck, actually, that was played in this tournament. The only one did squeak in at the 8th seed. This is the 1-8 matchup. And for those of you keeping track at home on YouTube, Lee once again did make it into the top cut of an event. So we'll see. After getting the bye, also, I should mention. So we'll see if Lee can fulfill the Lee Pete for finally after missing out on it. He got eaten by children. It's rigged. It's very much rigged. This tournament is very much rigged for Lee. Gosh darn it, yes. But the Organic Bridget, that's actually a great opening hand. And the Marshadow with Let Loose started for yes, bro stole my bye. The Let Loose started for Gabriel is a little bit unfortunate here. It's that one less. I'm actually not sure how many they play. Let's take a look. I believe it is just the one. Wow. So that means no Let Loose coming down, which is super unfortunate. There's actually no other hand disruption available. So this hand is going to stick for Iyla with that double ZoroArc available and a supporter in the Lele. We do see the Rayquaza GX come down and use that Stormy Winds ability and accelerate a grass energy onto itself, which is fantastic for Gabriel. And it's been kind of a joke, actually, that Gabriel was talking about always playing dragon decks for these events and not doing well historically with the dragon deck. So we'll see if their luck changes this time. This matchup is going to be pretty intricate. It does pit two double, multi-prizers up against each other. So we'll see how this one works out. The GX attack for Lycanroc is going to be one way that Iyla can really take advantage of the Rayquaza deck wanting to bench a lot of Pokemon. It's kind of hard for this deck to function without playing a lot of bench Pokemon. So we'll see. Oops. See if that can be played around at all from Gabriel here. See a Mysterious Treasure. There are a lot of grass energy in the discard pile. This is actually pretty beneficial since we will be able to accelerate those with the Stormy Winds ability. And I'm actually checking. I don't know if Gabriel plays the Latias. And yes, there is a Latias in here, so we can actually accelerate energy with the Latias Prism Star. It has that Dreamy Mist attack to accelerate some energy from the discard pile into play. And this is the Puzzle Rayquaza version. I'm not quite sure. I don't recall offhand which player got placed with this one. I don't remember if the Xurkitree and Latias were Pedro Torres. I think that's the list that they played for Worlds and top 8'd or top 4'd. I don't recall if it was top 8 or top 4, but Pedro did play that for Worlds. And a pretty solid opening turn there for Gabriel. Again, unfortunately, not having access to the Let Loose is pretty detrimental, not being able to disrupt the hand and not being able to continue your own draws. And it's nice, actually, for the Rayquaza deck here that you don't have to deal with all of the Garbodors. So usually this ZoroArc deck was paired, in this format, it was mostly paired with that Garbodor. You have the two different versions of it, the Breakpoint one with Garbotoxin that turns off abilities, and you also had the Trashalanche one from Guardians Rising. So both of those really hit this Rayquaza deck pretty hard. Since it does burn through its own deck, you're self-milling yourself whenever you use that Stormy Winds. So it's kind of a double-edged sword if you're feeding that Trashalanche. So I think Gabriel's pretty happy to not be up against the Garbodor version of the deck here. Agostino, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate that. welcome in. Great timing. You just joined as we're watching top 8 of the event here. Appreciate you coming in. But all of our trades have been used. Hello from Italy. Fantastic. Welcome in, friend. Welcome in. See the bloodthirsty eyes being used. And we're going to be able to hit this Rayquaza for some good damage here. Set it up for a 2-shot. I think I like the decision to hold the choice band, since we're going to be able to trade that away on the following turn, or it lets you kind of choose if you want to keep the top deck if you were to put it into play and you didn't want to trade the card you drew for turn on the following turn. It would be a little bit awkward. So this just lets you get the most information on the following turn before you trade. I'm from Boston, or all the way over here in Boston, Massachusetts. Little far away from Italy. But love to see friends from all over the world coming in and enjoying this. Of course, we have Gabriel here, one of our players from Brazil. So I always love to see so many different players coming from different countries and being able to play in these events. And that's the reason why the last one I had was an afternoon time. I was trying to get as many different countries and time zones accounted for. So Boston line, I've heard Boston's actually 90 miles away. Yes, no, Boston is like right there. It's not 90 miles away. Yes, one day I'll visit US. Yeah, would love to have you come through. We'll put you up here. Come to a US event for sure. We could walk into the city if we wanted. I don't want to, but we could. We have a couch and bed, and Rose and I both speak a little bit of Italian, so I'm not going to do that to myself and put that on YouTube. However, I do speak a little bit. Un po'. All right, so we see the trade here. Double Ultra Ball in hand. Not going to be able to play those anyway. And we find the DCE. There's the reminder. Owl's going to be mad at you, Rose. Go do your Duolingo. Do couch surfing? What do you mean? What do you mean do I do? Like, you can come stay on the couch. See a trade, getting rid of that field blower. And having triple ZoroRoc set up is fantastic for Iyla here, being able to just draw upwards of 6 cards per turn. A little bit unfortunate that you have to lose the strong energy here, potentially, but just getting to take a KO, you get to take 2 prizes here, see 2 more cards, and of course get yourself that much closer to winning the game. Gotta go before... What happened? Oh, the owl pecks my eyes. You're like, gotta go before the... And then you cut off. I thought something happened to you, but good night, Rose. Enjoy your Duolingo. Does it have to find a pace to see who's traveling? Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. But, yeah, I mean, did a first swoop and interrupted. Yeah. So there's the retreat. Take the KO with that Riotous Beating after we played the Sycamore. And again, a little unfortunate to have to lose that strong energy. You'd love to have an attachment down on this Rockruff, because if this ZoroRoc in the active goes down, your most immediate response would have been through the dangerous Rogue GX attack of Lycanroc to potentially take 2 prizes on the Rayquaza. But if this ZoroRoc goes down here, this game could snowball a little bit in Gabriel's favor. You most likely aren't getting response KO'd. I'm not sure if there's really any way. Looking at the deck list here, we have multi-switch, but there's nothing like a Kukui that would be able to push the damage up high enough for that ZoroRoc to hit the KO. And we see the Circuitry GX being played from Gabriel. So this Pokemon actually has this really crucial ability, preventing all damage done to it by Pokemon with special energy attached. And if you'll notice, one thing about Iyla's deck is that it is 100% special energy. So not going to be able to damage that Circuitry. And it's a great kind of just wall that you can send up, as you see here, just to buy you a little bit more time. Zoro player is chilling. Yes, no, you're definitely chilling here. The Zoro player definitely has pretty good setup established. We see the puzzle played. I'm not sure if it's one. It is just the one to rearrange the top 3. Yeah, you would have needed a lot from the Rayquaza player to take a KO on that ZoroRoc with only the 4 energy in play. I'm not sure how many max elixirs have been played, but it doesn't seem like their hand is too great. And with double puzzle in hand, we have 3 trades available. Iyla definitely has so many options. The world is their oyster here. See the Floatstone found, a Cynthia. We have the Mallow as well. We could go get another Lycanroc off of that. Could also use the double puzzles. We have the Timer Ball in hand too, so plenty of options. We'll see what they find. Should be able to Guzma like 4 times, right? Yeah, there should be plenty of Guzmas that should be playable here. We have the puzzles left. We have multi-switch. Ah, yes, that's a great card to point out as well, is the multi-switch in here can allow you to move these special energies around from a bench Pokemon up to your active. So we could actually see a dangerous rogue out of nowhere here, and I think that's what Iyla's eyeing up. Could see a Floatstone retreat into this Lycanroc, attach the strong energy, and then use the Bloodthirsty Eyes ability of this Lycanroc to bring up one of those Rayquazas. Definitely the one with the lightning energy attached to it, I think. It makes a little bit more sense, since Rayquaza does need to have a grass and a lightning. I guess if you take out this route, though, you're saying, okay, it's that much harder for you to find additional grass energy, but I think I would have preferred to take out the one with the lightning energy on it. Make it that much harder for a response to be found in the following turn. But we do see the play. We see that really clever multi-switch. Love that card included in this deck. Synergizes very well with that Lycanroc. And we see the Dangerous Rogue to pick up the KO. And now Iyla is only sitting with 2 prizes left. Has double puzzles already in hand. And I think there was no hand disruption. There's nothing like an N for Gabriel. So this one should just be pretty much over at this point. We don't have an ability since the Dangerous Rogue has been used. There's no outright win condition. We're close with the Claw Slash. We're hitting 160 with a Choice Band. We're just out of range of being able to take out something like that Lele. There's no Kukui or anything in this list, I believe. So there's no actual damage that we could bump up there. I guess if we found another strong energy, though, we could take that out. It can KO now. I'm not sure if either of you mean they need to find a strong energy to get this KO. The Choice Band only buffs it by 30, so we're still going to be 10 short on the Lele. But if we have another strong energy, we can just take the KO. And yes, that is going to be game here with the Claw Slash. Adding all those damage modifiers, and Claw Slash 180, 190? 180. 180 is going to take it out. Game 1 goes to Iyla. All right, going into game 2 here. Gabriel is going to get to go first, which is fantastic. We could potentially see a turn 1 let loose to set Iyla back. ZoroRoc was the second deck I ever played. Wow. I get wrecked and cut him super down. This is my favorite format. Awesome. All right, well, Caramel, if you wanna join in, if you do happen to lose that, you are welcome to do so. I would like to not have to continue the rest of this tournament completely alone. Would give my voice a little bit of a rest, so... we see the opening hand here, the Organic Bridget already in hand for Iyla. This is actually a great start. Would maybe love to see something like a Timer Ball top deck or another ZoroRoc, an out to another ZoroRoc for the following turn after that Bridget is played. But pretty good start. You do get a mulligan to work with, plus the pass rule, so there should be plenty of additional cards found to make that turn 2 that much more explosive. And... my 2 favorite people. What's up, Cal? Cal, are you around? You wanna hop into voice chat and impromptu commentate with me so I don't have to be alone? PJ left. PJ's not here anymore. So there's the pass, and another Bridget's found off the top. Not gonna be what we want necessarily. Good trade fodder, I guess. And the Oranguru started for Gabriel is not the best. You need to find a Floatstone to move that. Jeff actually got 9th. Yeah, Jeff did not make it into cut, unfortunately. Did fall to... I forget who took them out in the last round. I think Feather Arrow took them down. And there's the turn 1 Let Loose. So this is what I was talking about. Now, this is the only Let Loose ability we have for Rayquaza, but I think just being able to disrupt the early turns of ZoroRoc, keep them from using that Bridget if you can to get set up. And that's how you kind of steamroll. You take an early advantage with that. Maybe take an early KO to go along with that and just start to steamroll your advantage. And drawing pretty well off of the Let Loose here, we found a Zorua plus the Cynthia and double puzzle. I think it's just funny. Obviously, we can't use it here, but it's just funny to see double puzzle getting found off of the Let Loose for 4, because Zorua players always have it, right? Like, you can't play it here, but they always have it. And this just proves that. Oh, you beat them? Yeah, just Stitch Forever. Yeah, that's pretty good, right? Shadow Stitching is pretty good against Malamar. This just in, so... But we're still going to be going through the deck. I think there was a Max Elixir played, and the Stormy Winds used as well. Actually, I think the Max Elixir might have been milled with the Stormy Winds. And good sequencing here. I'm not sure if there was an energy in the discard pile already, but good sequencing to play the Rayquaza down before the Max Elixir. I'm not sure if you needed the energy. Maybe you wanted to mill the energy, although there was actually an energy in the discard pile, so maybe I might take that back. You could have actually played the... It's tricky. I guess it depends on... I didn't quite see if there was an energy in the discard pile previously, because if you want to mill more energy, that's the way to go, is to keep that, keep energy in deck for the Stormy Winds to mill, but potentially you want the Max Elixir, obviously you want the Max Elixir to hit with the most amount of energy in deck, so I'm not quite sure what the correct sequencing was there, depending on what the goal was for the turn for Gabriel, but solid first turn, have 3 energy in play, we have some good tools down, and being able to deny this Bridget for Iyla means that it's going to be that much harder to find basic Pokemon, which, of course, we draw right into, so definitely did pretty well off of the Let Loose plus Cynthia there. Pretty much just got what you would have gotten off of the Bridget anyway, so unfortunately the Let Loose not quite doing its job. Maybe there's a world where this Timer Ball doesn't hit. Yeah, no, who needs Bridget, right? There's a world where maybe this Timer Ball doesn't hit. Did I find a commentator? Theoretically, Cal is going to be joining us shortly. I don't know if I trust you to commentate, Vinny. That kind of makes me nervous. So we see the Guzma played here, and we have, I think there was another Max Elixir play potentially. We have the energy. I'm sorry, Vinny. You did this to yourself, though. So the Guzma chasing down the Zorua with energy. I actually almost would have preferred to see this this Rockruff targeted. I guess you obviously want to take the energy out of play if you can. This Zorua turning into a Zoroark with energy already attached is pretty threatening. But taking away the only Rockruff in play could have been a pretty interesting thing to target down, make it that much harder for a Lycanroc to ever follow up. But I guess you're still, by taking the DCE out of play, you're still keeping the Rockruff 1 attachment from being able to put any pressure out, obviously. So, like this line from Gabriel, not sure what the thought was happening there, but we did just see the Dragon Break take that KO. And on to Iyla's turn. I think really just being able to get some Zoroarks in play. Would love to find maybe another Rockruff if we can. And double heads on Timer Ball is a great start to this turn. Can go grab 2 Zoroarks out of the deck and start using those trades. I think they'll probably go for the Lele just to secure a supporter first. That way you see the most amount of cards. And meanwhile, on the other side, you're looking at the damage output of this Rayquaza deck, and this is where it starts to get really scary. There are 4 energy in play plus a choice belt, choice band, excuse me, so we're already hitting for 150 damage just with what's on board. There are still the energies that you can attach from hand to boost that up. You can use additional Stormy Winds, and you can also use more Max Elixirs, so plenty of ways to get more energy into play on the following turn, and just 2 more energy means that this Zoroark could go down on the following turn. Keeping the Rockruff online can open a play where Iyla can gust the other Ray since one flow stone has already been used. Yeah, but I think taking the energy out of play was the priority there, the more I thought about it. The baby Buzzwole comes down, and that's a really crucial card in this matchup as well, since it does have that Sledgehammer attack. Hits for 120 damage if your opponent has exactly 4 prize cards left. Then with cards like Choice Band, and Strong Energy, you can boost that up pretty significantly as well. Still waiting on Cal. We did see the Riotous beating for 150 there, so put out some pretty good pressure. And if a knockout is whiffed, this is kind of a crucial turn here. So if Gabriel is able to take a KO this turn with Dragon Break, get 2 additional energy into play, this could very much spiral and continue to spiral into their favor. We could obviously see things like that N played to disrupt a little bit, but you know, this is going to be a pretty pivotal turn. Also, Cal, hello.
Hi.
Thank you for hopping on. Appreciate it. I need to rest my voice.
Yes.
What's up, Gabby?
I should be good to finish this whole thing.
Wait a minute. There are 2 Let Loose in this deck? All right, y'all. I can't read. There are, in fact, 2 Let Loose in here. Once again, I guess we need to get a BM counter because Riley's having a bimbo moment where she can't freaking read. So I apologize for that. There are 2 Let Loose in this deck. I thought there should be. So my bad, y'all.
Oh, cool. This is Iyla, too.
Yeah, Iyla up against Gabriel. Yeah, how do you think this matchup goes, Cal? Now that we're already kind of like halfway through it.
I don't think I've ever played this format, so we'll see. I know
really.
Some of these cards... Yeah, I quit in 16, so I know all the stuff from like 16 to 11, but 17 and 18 are a little bit of a mystery to me.
Okay, so you missed kind of the chaotic formats of ZoroRoc and Lele and Buzzwole, all the fun stuff. Nice, love that for you. You missed Let Loose. Well, no, this isn't BuzzRoc, Gabby. This is ZoroRoc. Excuse me.
Yeah. ZoroRoc was goated in this format, though.
Yes, drawing extra cards and dealing damage for DCE and having access to puzzles and so much. I mean, ZoroRoc was just so ridiculous as a card. So we did see the KO. This was very important here. I mentioned that being kind of the pivotal turning point of this game. Oh, it's okay, Gabby. No worries. I think we might even see a Sledgehammer KO here, potentially. I don't know how I feel about that, though, because... Okay, so we're going to go with the Mallow. Interesting. So maybe we want to play to an end 2 on the following turn. I almost would have liked, though... I feel like it's kind of unlikely your ZoroRoc gets KO'd on the following turn, whereas this Buzzwole is more likely to go down. I think you're guaranteed to get whatever cards you want with that Mallow, so I might have liked to have seen the KO, maybe even with Energy Drive, I guess, and you could play it an end to 1. Interesting lines here. The Field Blower is big, though. Get rid of those Choice Bands to boost the damage. Choosing instead to get rid of the Float Stone, I like that. That's a much better choice. The Choice Band on that Latias only going to make it do 60 damage, so not really something you're worried about. And there's the KO with Sledgehammer, picking up the KO on the Rayquaza. So this again, I said this last turn, but this is going to be a pretty big turn for Gabriel. I think they can already pick up the KO. No, they're actually 10 short of picking up the KO here on the active, yeah. But they can go in with a Dragon Mist, maybe. We could see something like, you know, get some Rayquazas down, another Rayquaza down on the bench, and then just pile so many energy into play with that Latias, the Prism Star being used here.
Go down 2 double colorless as well.
Yeah, that's tough. Buzz Daddy. Fighting deck was bad for my ZoroRoc deck? Yeah, that's, this just in. Also, what's up, Prime? Welcome. Alright, so it looks like in our other match, Ed did take down Zach in a 2-0 fashion.
3,
so,
6, 9, 12. 14, 15, choice belt, 18. Yeah, if they could have picked up a knockout with a ZoroRoc, it probably would have been pretty unlikely if they could have actually got the return KO. They could have probably bought a turn.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, now you're putting the big thing about that play. I guess it's because Gabriel's going in with the Latias, it kind of becomes a moot point. But my thinking was that it's more likely that you're. Oh, you've been here? I'm sorry, I wasn't ignoring you.
They had a choice belt as well.
They're down at least two or I think this is their second or third.
Okay.
They only play 3, so if they have any left, it's 1.
Yeah, so they probably could have knocked out Lele, but I don't think they could have knocked out ZoroRoc.
Well, but here's my thinking, though. The reason I didn't like that line from Iyla was because if your strong energy goes down, you have no energy in play again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is a very risky play here, because now we can go get this Lycanroc and N, and if we find the multi-switch plus another energy, we can take a KO on the bench Rayquaza, and that should just seal up the game, to be completely honest. Yeah. The Rayquaza with 4 energy going down here would just be game ending for Gabriel, so I didn't like that.
Turn?
I'm sorry?
Was that ZoroRoc bench this turn or no?
I think it was just benched, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But yeah, I didn't like exposing your only energy in play the last turn. I think if you had taken the KO as ZoroRoc, you're more likely to find that multi-switch play, because I think it revolves around this this Buzzwole staying alive, which Gabriel could have chosen to just take the KO there. So yeah, I like the line from Gabriel though, saying like, okay, I guess it's unlikely that I get KO'd here, so I can put up this Latias and try to buy a turn. Yeah. And that's what this Rayquaza deck does, is it just puts a lot of energy in play and then it just snowballs the advantage. It really snowballs with so many energy in play. And now this is getting scary once again for Iyla.
Yeah. I would have to assume that he's in the driver's seat now. And Iyla's definitely on the back pedal.
Yeah, definitely. And even the escape rope being played, meaning you can come in with the fresh Rayquaza that only has 3 energy attached. That way it's that much harder for your opponent to take the KO. I almost would have liked still taking the KO on the active, though. I guess, I don't know, it's weird. Because you could have taken out the only energy in play. How do you feel about that escape rope?
I think you KO the Buzz. I think you just kill it, and then you probably just lock up the game, because the only thing that they can do is go like Guzma knock out the other Rayquaza, I think, right?
Well, they could have picked up the KO on the active with a choice belt.
Yeah.
Choice band. So like DCE choice band would have taken out the damaged Ray. So
they attach this turn as well, or no?
I don't recall. Pokemon Gaming, thanks for the follow. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome.
I think they could have checkmated this though if they knocked out the Buzzwole, and then if they attached that energy to the Rayquaza to a different Pokemon, I think that they could have checkmated this one, because then all they really needed is their last belt and energy, and they could probably just knock out any Pokemon on board.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it still feels like you're so far ahead at this point that and even N is a little bit tough, because you have the Oranguru on the bench with Instruct. I'm doing well, Pokemon. This actually isn't expanded. This is a 2018 Worlds format retro tournament. So I host these every week. My Riley's Retro events. We're in top 8 of the event right now. And this is the 2018 Worlds format. So we got lots of fun ZoroRocs and Lycanrocs and Rayquazas galore. But old format, we love it.
It's still pretty unlikely that they find this off of the end, because they're basically seeing 6 cards.
Oh, and you took down Mike? Nice. So I'll just give a quick update on that. We did get another result there. So Kara did take down Mike Fouché and move into top 4. Another 2-0. Wow. Yeah, Mike's one of the better players we've seen in these events for sure. Long live first impression.
Yeah, they should have the knockout here.
Wow, and I didn't even see this, but we did find the multi-switch DCE combo. So we can get the KO. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But another energy and a
It attached
Guzma.
energy already on accident. Yeah.
Oh
It attached.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see that. They attached to the Rockruff. Super unfortunate little misplay there. And we are going to get a game 3 out of it. All right, so we're going to get a game 3 here. Unfortunate to see, the game end to a little bit of a misplay there. But I think it was just so far ahead at that point that it was still pretty much in Gabriel's favor. I think it would have come down to basically if Gabriel just had another energy attachment or not to finish up the game there. Before I forget, appreciate it. Welcome. So, who do you think's favored in this game 3? With, of course, Iyla getting to go first.
You get supporter turn 1 in this format, right?
You do, yes. That's why we have to do that unfortunate pass.
Yeah, I would probably say Isla's probably pretty favored. I think this deck does pretty well against Ray.
Yeah, and especially when you have access to the multi-switch plays, which are really cool. And getting that Bridget turn 1. This is the GMO Bridget, because we did have to Lele for it. Unfortunately, it was not organic. But I think it's going to come down to, my opinion on how this is going to go comes down to this first turn, really. Like, if Gabriel can get a ton of energy in play and put out a lot of pressure, maybe end the turn with a Latias in the active, it could very much go their way. And we have Let Loose, so we can't really count that out either. You could just completely dead draw off of a Let Loose if you're Iyla, so gotta watch out for that.
I feel like this matchup's very pulverizing. It's either very much in Isla's favor or very much not.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all early turns.
Yeah, it comes down to a lot of these early turns for sure. I mean, and that was a lot of what this Ray deck was built upon was, putting out a lot of early pressure coupled with Let Loose. You can take KOs on something like the Zorua and then also hit a Let Loose. And just really, take full control of the board and just have these Rays that are swinging for massive damage left and right. So we'll have to see what we can find for Gabriel. Ultra Ball comes down, might see that Let Loose. Yep, we really, really do see that. Yep. And there it is, the Let Loose. So this could really come down to what Iyla draws off these 4 cards.
ZoroRoc and
yep, that's pretty much what you need. Yep, you're like, okay, I got a ZoroRoc, I got a draw supporter, we're cooking. Did get some energy discarded there off this Stormy Winds, which is pretty good. Accelerate 1 with the ability, of course. And maybe if we find an energy, I guess we can use the GX attack, Tempest GX. I think it was discard your hand and draw 10 cards, I believe was the ability, the attack there. Of course, there is just the N in Isla's hand, though. Of ZoroRoc's matchups.
Of the ZoroRoc V-Star deck.
The Rayquaza deck?
A lot more. Yeah.
Name, please? What? An enemy, please? What? ZoroRoc's matchups getting that energy in play turn 1, combining Dangerous Rogue with and yeah, exactly. Like, it's really just getting energy in play is big.
Guess if I had double this turn though. Still has trades. Has 2. Maybe they Ultra Ball first though to get the other ZoroRoc so they thin.
Do I still have a PNG of Cal's face? I don't think I do. Oh, end me, please. There we go. I got it. BM. It's another BM moment. I really do have to start getting a BM counter for bimbo moments. Do I have Cal's face? I had a couple that I didn't delete yet. Dang it, I don't have Cal's face anymore. I'm too lazy to get it.
Probably wouldn't have
Caramel.
I think you...
Oh, what's up?
I don't think that they should have discarded puzzle. I think you keep the puzzles because the puzzles are just anything you want out of your discard.
Yeah, I think there might have been one already down, or that was for the Rake player perhaps. But thanks for the follow, Caramel, by the way. Didn't realize you
Yeah,
weren't following. Rude. Just kidding.
they even could have
Appreciate it.
discarded Cynthia, kept puzzle, and the double puzzle gives them Cynthia and another card.
Right, right. It's Cynthia +1. So yeah, definitely like to see those puzzles. While they're not, it's kind of funny, right? Because puzzle, like, it could be another card. Treason that you weren't already. Fair enough. And the parallel city here is pretty big too. Limiting the Gabriel's bench here is a little bit tricky to deal with. There are 2 copies of Field Blower, so we can get rid of that stadium, but this is kind of a funny play where you're limiting Gabriel's bench. So Dangerous Rogue does less damage, but of course with the 2 strong energies already in play, we do have enough damage built up if we can get into a Lycanroc. So one play that could be really huge here is if we can find a Guzma and a Max Elixir perhaps to take out that Rockruff on the bench with those 2 energies. That could be huge. But the double puzzle getting played here makes me think we're going to see a Sycamore instead, just to try to burn through the deck.
It'd be interesting to see the other cards, probably Blower.
Interesting. Yeah. Blower Ultra Ball. So maybe we do have an Ultra Ball for Lele to get Guzma, perhaps? Mm-hmm. Or we could be looking to live off of this Instruct, too, which could be fine. I wouldn't hate seeing the Lele, because the Blower's the last card in hand, so... Okay. Would you go for that play here? Would you go, Blower, Lele for Guzma, and then hope to hit a Max Elixir or something?
Oh, they're going for Let Loose, it looks like. I think I would have went for the play where you go after it, to be honest.
The only problem with that, though, is that because you have to retreat first. Yeah. Or I guess you could, because you'd have to hit the Max Elixir onto the bench.
Turn, right?
Ooh, but there's the Elixir. Do we hit this? Yes, we do. We still have the Let Loose. I don't know what the other card...
Oh, no.
What's that?
Did they attach this turn or no?
I don't think so.
If they didn't attach this turn, they could have just attached to the bench and then Goose Mode. Instead of getting... I think they got rid of energy instead, and they didn't have to get Blower back instead.
They might have already attached because they had 2 grass to end the first turn. Yeah. They might have already attached. And there's the Guzma. Wow. So huge swing turn here from Gabriel. And this is going to be so detrimental. And this is what we were talking about. Like, this Ray deck can really just steamroll from here.
Yeah. Iyla missing the double colorless. Next card, but missing the double colorless was really bad that last turn. It set him back for sure.
Well, at least it was it was Let Loose, so it's shuffled. So like it wasn't technically the next card. We'll never know, but missing the DCE was unfortunate. We have a wall of ZoroRoc GXs here, but now you don't have an immediate response to this Rayquaza, and if we can just get a KO this turn as well, go down to 3, the game is just going to be so much harder for Iyla to come back in. They are going to need this Rockruff to survive the turn, though. That's a big component to this, too. Actually, how many Rockruffs did they play? They do play 3 Rockruffs. So they could potentially find the 3rd here. And if you can set up both Rockruffs on the bench, that's the way to come back here. And obviously dodging a KO this turn would be massive, too.
I have to imagine that they go for the Guzma here on the Rockruff if they can. But then they open up Buzzwolf back up too. Yeah,
going into the Sledgehammer turn, but there really isn't a way that the Buzzwole, on the active it currently picks up the KO, which would be huge, but there's no way actually for that Buzzwole to get up to 180. There are just, strong energies in a choice belt, but there's nothing like a Kukui to push it that much higher. You need like 2 attachments of strong energies. But we see another Stormy Winds here into the Instruct. 5, 6. So we're currently hitting 180 with that choice band. And another important thing to notice is the 3rd and final choice band is already in the discard pile for Gabriel, the other 2 being in play already. So something like a Field Blower could be huge this turn. And this Max Elixir is also huge. Does this hit?
Looks like it
does. 2, 3, 4, 5,
30.
6, 7. So we hit the KO exactly with 210.
Looking rough.
Yeah, definitely looking rough here.
They will need 3 more.
2, 3. I mean, and again, you're kind of M-proofed. I shouldn't say N-proofed, but, you know, having that Oranguru with Instruct around always helps you off potential ends, because that's really the way that Iyla wants to come back into this one is, you know, maybe have a later end to 1, end to 2, you know, end to a low hand size against a Rayquaza deck is usually pretty good. I think Rayquaza's already played at least 3, maybe all 4 max elixirs, so it could be a challenge to pick up the final few KOs. And that prize mapping could be a little bit awkward, you know, choosing to take an odd prize there, but it obviously gave you a whole another turn to keep playing the game by taking out the most immediate threat. So definitely worth going for it that way, but now you're a little bit more susceptible to not being able to string back-to-back-to-back attacks. So yeah, exactly, Caramel. So it does put a lot of pressure on Ray's resources, demanding they put more energy in, 3 more energy into play. But you also could just go Guzma the Rockruff again, and then you're guaranteed to have this Rayquaza around. And I think that's what we're going to see. Yeah, we see the Guzma found off the Wonder Tag. And this puts you back on even prizes, and then you're just 1 Guzma away from taking out the Lele. I think we definitely want to see an attachment from hand this turn if you're Gabriel. That way you only need an energy attachment the following turn to pick up the KO on the Lele, but we whiffed the attachment, so getting a Field Blower off this double puzzle could be huge for Iyla. Yeah, and this is what double puzzle really does for you. Do you, are you sad you missed this format, Cal?
Yeah, I wish I played ZoroRoc, because I feel like, I don't know, I've heard mixed things about this format, though. Like, a lot of people say that it's very skill-based, based off of, like, the interactions, but some people say that ZoroRoc was, like, too overpowering.
Yeah, I mean, I think just to speak on the format as a whole, ZoroRoc being overpowering is a thing for sure, but it also requires a lot of intentional discard. You know, like, you have to really know what your game plan is to make sure you're discarding the correct cards, keeping around the right resources, what you double puzzle for. It really rewarded a good player, I would say. Interesting to see that the double puzzle being used before the trades. I'm not sure if there's just no Blower or Rockruff left in the deck, but I would have liked to see those trades being used first, just to see the most amount of cards to make your decisions more.
Yeah.
But I don't think it mattered too much unless there was something else in the deck that it could have found. You know, you could have found like a Rescue Stretcher or something. I'm not sure if Iyla plays that. No Stretcher, so... But regardless, we are going to have to 2-shot this Ray once again, which is super unfortunate. I guess, is there ever a world where you retreat into the Baby Buzz, perhaps? And, I mean, you gotta put some pressure out, right?
Yeah, it's rough, because if they attack into it with the ZoroRoc, I think that they're just kind of putting themselves in a very, like, very bad position. It's just rough. I don't know what they do from here. Also, they didn't end. I think they used a supporter, right? Or is this an end for now?
No,
okay.
It's end for the next turn. I don't. So you get the max damage output of the ZoroRoc here, which is nice. Maybe you can set up a play where you finish off this Ray with like a Choice Band, Strong Energy on the Buzzwole to pick up the KO.
I just don't know how they win this.
Yeah.
If they have a Parasol left, maybe that they can retreat this damage to ZoroRoc and then Parallel City themselves and then get rid of it.
Yeah, that would be pretty big. They do also play Acerola, so they could just pick up the damaged ZoroRoc and go into a fresh Lycanroc would be big. But it just comes down to if there's a Guzma and a Floatstone from Gabriel. Getting rid of the Floatstone with that Field Blower was big because it removes Guzma as an immediate win condition for Gabriel. And yeah, Caramel has a great point here too. There's so much skill expression, especially in ZoroRoc mirrors. And 85% of the time you can usually pin any given game loss and mistake you made. Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of something that you want, right? Is you want to lose to your opponent outplaying you in a, a very skill-based mirror. So yeah, I think this was a very polarizing format for people that, they hate Let Loose but love ZoroArc and Buzzwole and Ray and all that. But I recommend
Yeah,
it.
a lot of do not like Let Loose. They hate it.
Yeah, yep. One other thing I want to point out, we do only have 5 minutes left in the round here. I think we should finish just in time, but it could go into turns at the end of this one, which could be huge. We have another match that's still going as well.
So I don't think they have to hit Ace Aurora or Parallel here, which is interesting.
Yeah, did they have Acerola in deck? Because they chose to not save the Lele, which is interesting.
I think they might have, or I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that they did, or it was another Guzma.
I guess it doesn't actually matter though, because you lose to Guzma. No, you don't actually lose to Guzma anyway, because you're taking out the active with the Lycanroc. So I don't actually know.
Well,
no, you still lose to Guzma though.
Yeah, they could just send up something else and then hope they hit Guzma energy, I think.
Right, and they have Instruct to work with.
Mm-hmm. I think they send up Marshadow here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It will be telling of what they have in hand, too. They have played a bunch of Guzmas. I think there are 3 down?
Rangaroo.
Okay, so this does play the full 4.
Mm-hmm.
This Rayquaza deck. So there should be at least potentially 1 Guzma left. We need Energy Attachment plus a Guzma, and that will close out the game. Float Zone is nice. Yep. Yeah, 2018 NAIC, none of us had figured out how good Marshadow is. I know, I remember being at Worlds that year, and I actually saw, Bergie showed me this Puzzle Ray list and was like, oh, you got to play this card, Let Loose. And I'm like, that doesn't seem that great. And then I remember playing against a Puzzle Ray. I actually played against Bergie in day 1, and I was like, dang, Marshadow is really good. So, the Rescue Stretcher... Yeah. Wow, that was risky though. We could have just milled the last Guzma. Oh, no, there's 2 left. There's 2 left on the deck. Okay.
I mean, energy are left as well.
I'm not sure. The deck does play a decent amount. I think it plays 14. Yeah, it does play 14, and the Super Rod was already used as well. So this is a big Instruct. What does that find us? Energy Guzma will just win the game, but if it doesn't, Iyla has game in hand with Guzma Dangerous Rogue. So this is just coming down to this here. 3 minutes left in the round, but this is pretty much the last turn of the game. There are no ways to disrupt Iyla's hand, so it's literally just, does Gabriel have the game or not? And it's a Sycamore! I think they had the Guzma too, but no energy. And I don't believe there's a way. I think they're out all of their puzzles and their max elixirs. I don't think there's a way for the Rayquaza to get a KO here. Wow, and just the pass, and that's going to be it. Iyla will take down Gabriel, bring up that Lycanroc, use Dangerous Rogue, take the final 2 prizes, and wow, what a nervy ending to this game, this series as well, going to Iyla and ZoroRoc.